The File Explorer view allows you to work with your files on different drives and in different folders. You have different tabs here which will allow you to copy and cut and paste or move files, delete them, rename them, and create new folders, for example. The Share tab allows you to share files, for example, with other people. The View tab allows you to customize the view that you have here. In the left navigation pane, you can go in and increase and decrease the size of that by clicking on the border, by dragging. And you can look at your different areas, such as your drives and different folders in this view. So if I wanted to collapse this and not see what's under my desktop folder, I can do that. And I can go back in and expand it. You can also see, and the desktop folder is on my C drive on my computer. You can also see that I have a USB drive connected, so I can expand that or collapse it as needed if I don't want to see that detail. You have this row up here, and it will tell you where you are in the hierarchy and the path. So I'm in the desktop kind of folder or area of my PC. Now let's go in and let's just create a quick folder. I'm going to call it New Files. And I'm going to copy and move some files between my desktop folders here, the demo data files, and the new files, which are both on my desktop, and to my USB drive. I want to go into my demo data files. And what I want to do is I'm going to drag and drop rather than use these options up here. I'm going to drag and drop some files to the new files folder here and to my USB drive. So I'm going to left click and drag and drop from my demo data files on the desktop area to the new files folder, which is also in my desktop area. So I'm going to left click and drag and drop. Notice it says it's going to move it there. The reason it's going to move it is because it's moving it from one place to another on the same drive. So it assumes you don't want a copy in both places, that you just want one copy in the new location. So I'm going to drop it there, and it's no longer here. So if I left click and drag and drop from the demo data files on my desktop to the new files folder on my desktop, it will move. Now let's go down to my USB drive. And I have a new data files folder there, which is empty. And I want to left click and drag and drop to that new data files folder on my USB drive. Notice that it says copy. That's because I'm taking that file and left clicking and dragging that and dropping it from my desktop, which is on my C drive on my computer, to the USB drive. So I'm taking that and left clicking and dragging and dropping it from one drive to another drive. So therefore it's going to copy it, assuming you want a copy in each location and on each drive. Okay, so I'll take another one here and drag and drop it, left click. It's from one drive to another, so it's going to copy it. If I go into my new data files, I can see those two files there. So I'm going to go back into my demo data files. And this time I'm going to do this a little differently. Instead of left clicking, I'm going to right click. I'm going to right click on, let's just go ahead and choose one of these access folders or files. What I'm going to do is right click and take that file and drag and drop it on my desktop from my data files folder here to my new files. So I'm going to right click and drag and drop it to my new files. Notice it says the default is to move it to the new files, since it's going from the same drive, one folder on the same drive to another folder on the same drive. So I'm going to let go of my right click and it brings up a menu. The move here is bolded because that's the default. But let's say if I wanted to copy it here, I can. So you can see the traders.accdb there. And let's just do that with a picture file. I'm going to right click and drag and drop it to my new files. Maybe I want to move that one in this case. So I'll click on move and it takes it from the data files folder and moves it into the new files folder. Now that's from the same drive, one folder to another on the same drive. So let's try that with the USB drive. I'm going to right click on one of these PowerPoint files and drag and drop it. I'm going to right click and drag and drop it to the new data files on my USB. So I'm going from one drive to another drive, right click, drag and drop, and then you can choose whichever option you need here. I'm just going to move it. Now, one other thing that might be helpful in working with these files is understanding how to select multiple files. If I wanted to take these Excel files, all of these files, and I want to move them to the new files folder on my USB drive, I'm going to select all of those. Now I can do each one individually, which might take some time. I'm going to select them at once. So I'm going to click on the first one, and then I'm going to press the Shift key on the keyboard and hold that down and click on the last one that I want to select. And it could be any of them. You can see how I can click on one, and whatever the last one is, press Shift and click on that one. This is only if the files that you need are right next to each other. Okay, so I'm going to select those. I'm going to right click on any of those, and I'm going to take that to my new data files folder on my USB drive, and I'm just going to move those there. Okay, so those have moved. Now, if your files are not next to each other, you can still do this using the Control key on the keyboard. So I'm going to select multiple files that are not next to each other. So I'm just going to select this one. I'm going to press Control, hold it down, and select the other files that you need. So let's take a picture and a PowerPoint. Now I can right click, or you can left click as well, but I'm going to right click on any of those that's highlighted, take it to my new data files folder, and I'm going to move those. So I hope that's helpful in some techniques that might make it a little more efficient to work in the File Explorer view.